testify here today in context with the Constitution of the United States and also the courts. Recently, I've had the unfortunate opportunity of going to several court hearings, several trials as a criminal justice major. I make it my business to know what's happening within the judicial system itself. But there's something that I've noticed in every county, in every trial, before every judge. It is the makeup of the jury. People are supposed to, or the alleged, let's just say defendant, take the word alleged out, the defendant is supposed to be judged by a jury of his or her peers. And from what I've seen, there's nothing that's tantamount that they get a fair trial. How does a person have a fair trial if they're in a county with a jury that's sitting in judgment of them looks nothing like them? Look at the trial that's going on with former President Donald Trump. He's facing a jury of his peers. There's not one single black person on that jury. Not one. I wonder why. You know, according to the Constitution, or the United States Constitution, as published by the American Bar Association, Amendment number 6 says this, talks about right to a fair trial. Quote, in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. Close quote. Well, let's talk about this. Now, some of you are perusing, you're just going through it. Let me ask you a question. Do you have people in your family that went on trial and you went to the court and you saw the makeup of the jury and you wonder how 12 white people could sit in judgment of one black person? The judge is white, the jury is all white, the bailiffs are white. The only black person in the courtroom is your relative. That equals a guaranteed conviction. When Emmett Till was murdered down in Money, Mississippi, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but when they had that trial, that gentleman, Mr. Bryan, had a jury of his peers. And they were going to find him not guilty anyway. What is the point? The point is this. According to the Constitution of the United States, Amendment number 6 says, everyone has a right to a fair trial. Everyone has the right to face the witnesses who accuse them of alleged crimes. Everyone has the right to a jury of his or her peers. Now, if you are arrested in your county where you live and you go to court and nobody on the jury looks like you, how is that going to be a fair trial? How are you going to be able, through your advocate, your attorney, to argue because they want you to prove your innocence when it is the job of the prosecution to prove you guilty? No one should help the prosecution to prosecute them. It is not a fair trial. Listen up, y'all. I've been to prison. I know what it is to be falsely accused and set up and sit in judgment of 12 white people, and they all got it wrong. Why? Because the next day in the paper, everything came out in the headlines. They'll never lie. The people who put their hand on the Bible and swore by Almighty God to tell the truth, they were the liars. And what gets me is this. Every time a police officer commits a crime, you automatically know. Only in certain rare instances are they going to be found guilty. And they have a jury of their peers. When the Rodney King incident happened out in California in the 90s, what did the prosecution say? You can't believe the videotape. What you actually saw, you did not see, because you didn't see what happened prior to that. It doesn't matter what happened prior to that. The fact is, they beat Rodney King almost to death. And then they argue for a change of venue. Most people don't even understand why the riots took place. The riots happened because they knew they were going to acquit those officers, and they had the trial in a different county, and they found them not guilty. People just couldn't take it anymore. They just tore up the city. Make sure, you better listen to what I'm telling you. Make sure if it's you or someone you know or one of your family members know is a falsely accused of a crime, or even if they did something that they shouldn't have done, make sure that when they go to get the jury and stuff together, make sure that their lawyer strikes down anything, anyone, and anybody that's going to sit there and say, you know what, I can be partial. 12 white people with a black person or a Hispanic person sitting in the courtroom, they're not going to be partial. They're going to be found guilty. And y'all can laugh at me when I make this next statement. That jury is going to find Donald Trump not guilty. Point blank. Because already behind the scenes, we all going to see all these charges, all 94 of them just disappear. If that were you or I and we had 90 plus charges against us, we would not be getting all this preferential treatment. They would have locked us up, throw away the king, that'd be the end of it. Know the Constitution. Study it for yourself. I keep telling people, read the Constitution. Get a copy of it. Study it. Know what the Constitution says. This is not a game. This is not a joke. And a lot of people keep laughing because it hasn't happened to them. Just because your rights haven't been violated, just because you haven't been falsely accused, and people can automatically make assumptions because the police are going to make sure that whatever's printed in the paper, it favors their version of events. The Constitution of the United States is a powerful document that most people will not read. On this channel, I deal with serious issues every day. Other people can talk about all the silly stuff all they want on all these other channels. That's not for me. I'm going to deal with real life issues involving real life people. And this is a serious topic here. An all white jury guarantees a conviction for anybody that's black. They cannot get a fair trial if you have an all white jury. It's not going to happen. You talk to some of your family members, you talk to some of your friends, and you ask them what type of jury they had and why they were convicted and why they got the time that they got. Because the fix was already in. You don't think that these judges and prosecutors and all these people are friends? They're all friends. They golf together, they eat together, they probably live in the same neighborhoods. Decisions and deals are already made even before people come to court. They're just going through the formalities to make it look like it's a fair trial. There's nothing fair about it. I just watched a young man get 15 to 30 years, and I saw how they railroaded him during the trial. But as long as they got the conviction, that's all that matters. Get a copy of the Constitution, study it for yourself, know what it says, because you or someone that you know may be in trouble one day and they have to go to court and they may have to have a trial. And if they have to have a trial and they're convicted from a jury, not of their peers, and you know that the conviction is wrong, you're not going to like it. Education is powerful. Everything that's happened in this country is a smokescreen to stop people from really concentrating on what is important. I'm a reader, researcher, a studier. And one of the main reasons why I'm becoming a lawyer, and I'll tell you, I'm not playing with this, is because of a grave act of injustice that happened to me. And I'm going to make sure that it never happens to anybody else. That's why I'm becoming a criminal defense attorney, because I'm going to fight for those who have been unjustly taken advantage of in the criminal justice system. People whose rights have been stripped away from them, people who had unfair trials, have gotten unfair sentences, lengthy ones. Do you know that America has almost 3 million people incarcerated for profitability? You have major athletes. I think I'll do a story on it one day, and I'll give you all the names, all the entertainers and different people who are investors in the privatization of prisons in America. That's why they don't ever speak out against injustice, because they're too busy making money and getting rich off of it. And parole and probation, that's a joke and it's a game. Supervised, they call it supervised parole, supervised probation. Why? Because you're going to pay the county or your state, you're going to pay them to supervise you. That's the fact. So people can laugh and they can think it's a joke until it happens to them. One of the greatest acts of injustice I ever seen occur was about 2 young white men who attended Duke University. And it was sad and it was terrible. A young black woman who was in a seedy lifestyle at a party. Somebody hired her to come to do private dancing. And these 2 young men, they were just innocently there, and they left before the party was over. So stuff happened at the party. She didn't get the amount of money that she wanted. And then this black young woman said that these 2 young white men raped her. And the district attorney knew, Nifong, he knew it was a lie. He destroyed the lives of these 2 young white Duke University lacrosse students. They kicked them out of the school. They kicked them off the lacrosse team. They didn't even take the time to find out if it was true or not. Nifong was up for re-election as the district attorney. This happened down in North Carolina. And he was re-elected because of what this prostitute said. The families of these 2 young white men, white boys, white college students, they hired private investigators. And you know what it revealed? That number 1, they were innocent, as they always said. Number 2, that Nifong overstepped his boundaries as a district attorney, prosecutorial misconduct. He had a trial where it was public on TV. Look it up for yourself. He was disbarred, humiliated, sued, lost his law license, could never practice law again. So black people aren't the only people who face injustice. White people face injustice too. The 2 lives of these young men, their lives were ruined. But they came from real good families, and they fought and fought till the truth came out. Duke University was sued and had to pay a lot of money to each one of these families. And these 2 young men went on to finish school and now they're defense attorneys fighting for the rights of people. This is all I'm trying to get you to understand. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Everybody, whether they're guilty or innocent, deserve a fair trial. Everybody deserves a fair jury. Everybody deserves an impartial judge, not a partial judge. This is America. It's supposed to be the land of the free and the home of the brave and yada yada, etc., etc. I'm sitting before this camera for one reason. It's not for likes. It's not for clicks. It's not for baits. It's to help people. So the next time somebody comes to you and they talk to you about a problem or sort of circumstance and they don't know what to do, the first thing they need to do, you got to get a lawyer that's going to fight for you and not fight against you and try to force you to plea bargain. Plea bargaining is nothing more than a tool to make people afraid. So that's my commentary regarding this issue right here. So as we move forward, I'll be talking about a lot of different things that hopefully they can help a lot of people. And to all of you who watch this channel, I want to thank you for watching. To the 578 people who have subscribed, thank you for subscribing. We're continuing to grow, and I hope we reach 1,000 and beyond so we can do some of the things that's in my mind to do to be able to help hurting people. This is a real world. Everybody deserves a voice. Everybody deserves to be represented, whether they're black or white, rich or poor, Latino, Mexican, Jamaican, Haitian, it doesn't matter. Everybody deserves to be treated with respect. Even Donald Trump deserves to be treated with respect. If President Nixon could be pardoned under the Ford administration, and Nixon committed some terrible crimes, but Ford pardoned him. So until next time, thank you for watching. I'm Tyrone Bowman. Never surrender, never quit.